Welcome everyone. Artificial intelligence is everywhere today. Whether you are using ChatGPT, asking Alexa for the weather, receiving movie recommendations on Netflix, or unlocking your phone using Face ID, you're interacting with AI. The good news is that you don't need to be a programmer or data scientist to understand how AI works. In this lesson, we will explore AI using simple language, everyday examples, and practical explanations that anyone can understand. By the end of this lesson, you will clearly understand what AI is, how machine learning fits into AI, and why data plays such an important role. Let us begin. Artificial intelligence isn't new. Researchers have worked on AI for decades. So why has it suddenly become such a hot topic? Three major reasons made today's AI possible. First, computers have become incredibly powerful. Second, organizations now collect enormous amounts of data every second. Finally, new algorithms have become much better at learning from that data. Together, these advances gave us powerful tools like ChatGPT, image generators, voice assistants, and intelligent search engines. Today, AI is not limited to research labs, it has become available to everyone. The AI revolution isn't happening in the future, it's already here. Before diving deeper, let's understand today's roadmap. We will begin by defining artificial intelligence. Next, we will see what machine learning really means. Then we will understand how machine learning fits inside artificial intelligence. Finally, we will discover the simple idea behind how machines actually learn. Once these concepts become clear, many advanced AI topics will become much easier to understand in later lessons. One of the biggest misconceptions beginners have is thinking artificial intelligence and machine learning are the same thing. They are closely related, but they are not identical. Think about a large company. The company contains many departments. Similarly, artificial intelligence is the largest field. Inside AI, inside artificial intelligence, we find machine learning. Inside machine learning, we find deep learning. This simple hierarchy helps us understand where each technology belongs. Throughout this course, we will gradually explore each of these layers. Before we move on to the next topic, let us take a quick break with a fun thought. You have probably heard people say AI is going to replace humans, but here is a different perspective. AI is not replacing humans, it is mostly replacing repetitive work that humans never really enjoyed doing in the first place. Think about tasks like sorting thousands of emails, manually entering data into spreadsheets, checking invoices one by one, or searching through hundreds of documents. These are repetitive, time consuming activities that AI can often perform much faster, allowing people to focus on work that requires creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, and human judgment. So rather than thinking of AI as a replacement, it is often more helpful to think of it as a powerful assistant that helps us work smarter and more efficiently. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which AI tool do you use the most today? Is it ChatGPT for learning and brainstorming, Microsoft Copilot for work, Google Gemini for research, Siri or Alexa for everyday tasks, or perhaps another AI tool that you find useful? Leave your answer in the comments below. I always enjoy seeing how different people are using AI in their daily lives, and your suggestions might help other learners discover useful tools as well. All right, let's jump back into our lesson. Machine learning gives computers the ability to improve without someone rewriting the program every time. Instead of following fixed instructions forever, the system studies examples, It looks for patterns, then it uses those patterns to make future predictions. The more quality data it receives, the more accurate it usually becomes. Think about how humans learn. We improve through practice. Machine learning works in the surprisingly similar way. It improves through data. Let us compare traditional programming with machine learning. In traditional programming, a developer writes every rule. The computer simply follows those instructions. Machine learning works differently. Instead of writing every possible rule, we provide lots of examples. The algorithm studies those examples and discovers the hidden patterns by itself. That is why machine learning can solve problems that are too difficult to solve using fixed rules. Every successful machine learning project depends on four essential ingredients. First comes the data, next comes the algorithm. The algorithm studies the data during training. Finally, it produces predictions for new situations. Without data, the algorithm has nothing to learn from. Without algorithms, data remains just raw information. Both are equally important. One of the biggest differences between traditional programming and machine learning is how decisions are made. Traditional programs follow rules that people write. Machine learning is different. Instead of being told every rule, it studies data and discovers patterns on its own. But what exactly is a pattern? A pattern is simply a relationship that appears repeatedly in the data. For example, imagine a grocery store. After analyzing thousands of purchases, the system notices that customers who buy breakfast cereal often buy milk during the same shopping trip. Nobody explicitly programmed this rule. The machine learning model discovered it by recognizing a repeating pattern in customers' purchases. Here is another example. A navigation application may learn that roads near schools become congested around the beginning and the end of the school day. Again, no one manually writes this rule for every school. The model identifies the pattern by analyzing historical traffic data. These patterns allow machine learning systems to make predictions and recommendations when they encounter similar situations in the future. The more high quality data the model receives, the better it becomes at recognizing useful patterns. That is why we often say machine learning doesn't memorize data, it learns patterns from data. People often say that data is the fuel of artificial intelligence. That is very accurate analogy. Imagine trying to teach someone to identify different dog breeds using only two pictures. Learning would be difficult. Now imagine showing thousands of correctly labeled images. Learning becomes much easier. The same principle applies to machine learning. The better the quality and the quantity of data, the better the model usually performs. Remember one important rule: good data creates good AI. Data isn't limited to spreadsheets. AI can learn from many different types of information. It can analyze photographs, it can understand written documents, it can process spoken language, it can examine financial transactions, it can even study sensor readings from machines. Wherever digital information exists, machine learning may be able to discover useful patterns. Machine learning already influences many decisions around us. Streaming platforms recommend movies you will probably enjoy. Banks detect suspicious credit card activity within seconds. Hospitals use AI to help identify diseases earlier. Navigation systems predict traffic conditions before your journey begins. These systems are not thinking like humans. They are They are recognizing patterns learned from massive amounts of historical data. That is the real power of machine learning. When you shop online and receive customers also bought recommendations, machine learning is analyzing millions of purchasing patterns to predict what you might want next. Let us quickly recap today's journey. We learned that artificial intelligence is the broad field of creating intelligent systems. Machine learning is one of the important branch within AI. Instead of relying on manually written rules, machine learning discovers patterns from data. And finally, we learned that high quality data is the foundation of successful AI systems. In the next lesson, we will explore the different types of machine learning and understand when each one is used. I'm looking forward to see you there. Now, it is your turn to think like an AI professional. One of the best ways to understand artificial intelligence is to observe how it is already part of your daily life. I would like you to pause the video for a few minutes and list 5 applications that you use regularly. These could be apps on your phone, websites you visit, or services you use every day. For each application, answer 3 simple questions. First, what type of data do you think the application uses? It might use your seeing history, your location and search history, your purchase history, or even the time of the day when you use the application. Second, what prediction or decisions is the AI making? Is it recommending something, filtering unwanted content, or choosing the fastest route, or suggesting products you might like? Finally, ask yourself an important question. Does the application become better the more you use it? Many AI systems continuously learn from user interactions. As they collect more information about your preferences and behavior, their recommendations often become more accurate and more personalized. I have included a few examples on the slide to help you get started, but do not limit yourself to those examples. Look around your daily routine. Think about the apps you use for communication, entertainment, shopping, banking, transportation, education, or even fitness. You might be surprised by how many of them use artificial intelligence behind the scenes. Take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete the activity. If you're watching this on YouTube, pause the video now and come back once you have finished. In the next section, we will discuss some possible answers together and see how AI is quietly helping us in everyday life. Welcome back. I hope you took a few seconds to complete the activity. Remember, there is not just one correct answer. The goal was to start thinking about how artificial intelligence is already part of our day-to-day lives. Let us compare your answers with few examples. Our first example is a music streaming application. You may think it as YouTube Music. Think about the songs you listen to most often. The application keeps track of your listening history, including the artists, the types, and playlists you enjoy. Using that information, it recommends new songs and playlists that match your preferences. Notice that these recommendations usually become more accurate over time because the system continues learning from your listening habits. Now let us look at the weather application. It uses information such as current location along with weather data collected from forecasting services to provide a local weather forecast. Unlike recommendation systems, a weather app doesn't usually learn your personal preferences in the same way. Instead, it mainly relies on updated weather information, so its ability to improve from your individual usage is relatively limited. Next is a shopping application. Every time you browse products, add items to your cart, or make a purchase, the application collects useful information about your interests. It analyzes these patterns to recommend products you may want to buy next. The more you interact with the platform, the better these recommendations usually become. Now consider translation application. When you enter text, the AI predicts the most appropriate translation in other language. Modern translation systems continue improving as their underlying AI models are updated using larger and more diverse language datasets. Finally, let's look at the banking application. Banks use artificial intelligence to monitor transaction patterns. If the system notices unusual activity such as purchase from an unfamiliar location or spending that doesn't match your normal behavior, it can flag the transaction for additional verification. They collect data, identify patterns, and use those patterns to make predictions, recommendations, or decisions. This is exactly what machine learning is designed to do. The next time you use your favorite app, take a moment to ask yourself three simple questions. What data is it collecting? What decision is it making? And how might it become better over time? Once you begin thinking this way, you will start noticing artificial intelligence almost everywhere.